All right, here's our boy. Here's our sweet Greek god and savior Giannis Antetokounmpo, and his team told him for the past like 3 or 4 years, "Hey Giannis, we're gonna get you some help to win another championship." And this is probably the face that Giannis makes when they tell him that. And he probably says, "Huh? Are you actually gonna give me some help, or are y'all just saying what I want to hear?" Milwaukee's tried to do a job of building a championship team around him. They did it one time in, I think it was 2021 when they won, and they haven't been able to do it since then. There's all sorts of speculation about Giannis getting traded. He probably will be traded before the trade deadline if I wanted to bet. I'm just going to get straight into it. Oklahoma City Thunder, they have the most to offer Giannis in a trade package. If they really wanted to go ahead and trade for Giannis, they'd have the most to offer with their young talent, with their draft picks that are coming up in these next. I mean, from now all the way to 2032, honestly, they have all sorts of draft picks. I did a video a few weeks ago. OKC, they actually have 31 draft picks from now until 2031. So they just have more draft picks than they can even spend all their money on, to be honest. So OKC, they're at like a tough spot. They just won a championship. They might go back to backs. They're not in a tough spot roster wise, but they have a lot of good problems to have because they're probably not going to use all 31 of their draft picks between now and 2031. So they'll probably make some kind of trade, kind of like how they acquired Isaiah Hartenstein. They acquired Caruso as well. Those are the types of moves that I feel like high caliber championship level organizations usually make. They usually build their core through the draft, just like OKC did with SGA, J Dub, Chet Holmgren. They're probably going to sign. Did they already repay Chet Holmgren? Yeah, they already signed Chet Holmgren. They're already paying SGA. They already have J Dub locked up all the way until 2031, if we see right here. So they have their three core players locked in, and now just a matter of if they want to make a big trade some of those draft picks for a Giannis Antetokounmpo type player, just keep drafting players and kind of bring in strong role players like Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein as time goes on. But bottom line, OKC has the best trade package out of any team that they could offer Milwaukee if they wanted to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. So my quick trade idea, if I was OKC and they wanted to do this, it would make sense, I'd say, to be honest, because my package would be Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, and then Cason Wallace. Those are three really strong defensive players for OKC, so that would probably affect their defense a bit. They would still keep Chet Holmgren. They would still keep Alex Caruso. I mean, Kenrich Williams is a pretty strong defender. J Dub's a good defender. Of course, SGA, I feel like is a bit overrated as a defender. He's probably the third or fourth best defender on the Thunder, but SGA is a very good defender as well. And then if they brought in Giannis Antetokounmpo, I feel like he would fit right in with what they're trying to do because OKC doesn't run a lot of half court offense. If they do, it's usually SGA iso ball to create a shot for one of the teammates, and SGA is kind of playing. I don't want to say hero ball so much, but he's just their best option on offense in the half court. So they go to him, they run isos, they run some pick and roll stuff, and it ends up working because SGA is so great. But if they did end up making the trade for Giannis, we'll get more into the salaries here in a second. But if they did trade for Giannis, just from a fit standpoint, like I said, they lose Isaiah Hartenstein, they lose Lou Dort, they lose Cason Wallace, they lose three of their best defenders. Um, I mean, Lou Dort, Hartenstein, they're probably two of their top four, but you still have Caruso, you still have Chet Holmgren, and Caruso and Chet Holmgren are their top two defenders in my opinion. Then I go J Dub number three just with his versatility and all the things that J Dub can do defensively. So you lose two of your top five defenders, but then you bring in Giannis, who's an absolute animal on defense. I think with them having Giannis out on the court, I don't know if they'd force more turnovers, but their defense would be just as aggressive. They'd still have the top defense in the NBA. I don't think losing Hartenstein, Dort, and Cason Wallace is underrated in my opinion. He's an amazing perimeter defender. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. It's him and Caruso. I think Cason's actually a better point of attack perimeter defender than Caruso. Caruso's a very good point of attack defender as well. Caruso is just a bit more versatile, I feel like. We saw him fronting Jokic, and he can actually do some things to guard big men, at least front them and make it very difficult for them to get the ball. So yes, if they lost Hartenstein, Dort, and Casey Wallace as well, they would take a dip defensively. But adding Giannis, I feel like it wouldn't be any insane dip, and they would still be just fine. OKC's offense is not predicated on playing half-court offense. It's predicated on creating turnovers and getting out and running in the fast break. And you know who the best player is in the whole NBA at running in the fast break? It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. And it would just be stupid, honestly, watching OKC force all these turnovers. I don't know off the top of my head on the numbers, but I'm sure OKC is one of the best transition teams in the entire NBA as far as getting out in transition and scoring fast break points. That's the recipe for success. We're gonna try to turn you over. We're gonna try to get out in the fast break, score fast break points. We're gonna hold you to a very low amount of points. You're gonna be incredibly inefficient. Our half court offense is pretty decent from OKC's point of view. We still have SGA. He's going to give us an efficient 30 to 35 points. And our defense and transition offense is just going to be so good that most teams can't even hang around with OKC. And if they added Giannis into that mix, they'd be so stupid in the fast break. It would be insane in transition if they added Giannis Antetokounmpo to what they already have. So as far as the salary matching goes, again, I'd have Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, and Cason Wallace for my trade package if I was OKC. So basically here's the Bucks. 2027-28, that's Giannis's player option. Probably will definitely take that player option. But essentially between 26 and 2027, these next 2 years, Giannis is making just about $112 million. So in the trade package you made, it would have to balance out to about $112 million just to match the salaries. So if OKC traded Hartenstein, Dort, and Cason Wallace, that would equal about $106 million between those three players. So $112 million going out, $106 million coming back in to Milwaukee for that trade. So I don't know if it 100% would work, but that would just about match salary cap wise. It would be about a $6 million difference. So I mean, maybe OKC throws in. They would not want to trade Nikola Topic. Swarbert's really promising for them as well. There's no way they would trade AJ Mitchell. But I think that would just about match as far as salaries go. And then on top of those three players, Milwaukee's going to want about 3 or 4. They're probably going to ask for like 5 first-round draft picks, maybe some second-rounders. All the trade packages I've seen, all the hypothetical trade packages for Giannis, pretty much every single one of those packages has at least 3 or 4 first-round draft picks going from now up until 2031. So if I'm the Bucks, I just want to trade Giannis and just go into complete tank mode. I saw a package with the Rockets where the Rockets would trade Alfred Şengün. I probably wouldn't do that if I was the Rockets, but basically my point would be if I'm Milwaukee, I don't want to get back an all-star level player. I don't want to get back a superstar level player. I want to get back just a bunch of okay players, honestly. Hartenstein, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace. That would be fine for me. I can put them out there on the court. We'll have an entertaining team, I guess. If I'm the Bucks, I don't even care if my team is entertaining. I'm going full-on tank mode as soon as I lose Giannis. I want to get as many first-round draft picks from now until 2031 as I can, so I can just tank it up and draft a bunch of high-caliber first-round players. Maybe if they get lucky, they can get AJ DeBonsa or Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson. There's a lot of high-caliber draft prospects in this coming up draft for 2026, and even if you get like just some top 20 picks, the draft is so deep. If you miss out on AJ DeBonsa and some of those other guys, there's still so much talent throughout the draft that you can acquire some really good players going into your future. So as far as this package goes, OKC, they could make the trade. They could make the trade for Giannis if they wanted to. Going from I already kind of explained Milwaukee's point of view. If I'm Milwaukee's general manager, I want to go into full on tank mode. I'm trying to tank it up and get as many first round draft picks as I can. From Oklahoma City Thunder's point of view, I mean, I don't know. This would be really tough decision for OKC because you can hang on to your draft picks again. They have 31 draft picks from now until 2031. They're not going to draft 31 players, so they're going to trade some of these draft picks sooner or later. You have what is SGA? 26, maybe 27 years old. He just entered his prime. He's not even in the middle of his prime. He just came into his prime. He's giving you 33 points a game on 50% shooting. And he'll probably keep giving you 30 plus on 50% shooting for like the next 5 years at least. So SGA is just going to keep playing like a god. And then they already won the championship. They're favored to go back to back. They're not a lock to go back to back. People love to talk about good NBA teams and say, "Oh, this is the next dynasty in the NBA." And people like to say teams are going to be a dynasty before they even win one championship. So I always like to pump the brakes on the dynasty talk, but the Oklahoma City Thunder, they are best poised to win two, three, four, multiple championships heading forward, even if they just stand packed with the roster they have right now. So I'm a Spurs fan personally. Sam Presti was the Spurs' old general manager, so OKC and San Antonio, they do things very similarly in the front office. They're teams that like to build through the draft. When you build through the draft, you get amazing chemistry with all of your teammates. All your guys grow up together, and before you know it, you have SGA and Chet Holmgren and J Dub, and your whole team loves each other. You have great chemistry, and that's an awesome thing. But they could they could make the trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and if you traded Hartenstein, Dort, and Cason Wallace, you have a better chance to win championships for like the next 3 or 4 years. Say those 3 or 4 years go by, OKC, from an Oklahoma City Thunder fan standpoint, hopefully they win at least one more and maybe 2 or 3 championships. Again, OKC, they're not guaranteed to win any more championships. That's not to hate on OKC, but people act like dynasties are so easy to build and it's so easy to go back to back when in reality it's very, very hard. But if they drop off Hartenstein, Lou Dort, Case, and Wallace, they trade maybe 4 of their first round draft picks. Oh no, we traded 4 first round draft picks. Now we only have like 8 more first round draft picks from now until 2031. So it'll be a tough one. If I'm OKC, I think I do make that trade. If it's there for me, I get rid of Dort, Isaiah Hartenstein, Casey Wallace, all three great players. I would miss those guys, but I pick up Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's 30 years old. He's gonna play godlike basketball from now until he's like 34, maybe 35. So you'd get, let's say at bare minimum, health permitted. Hopefully Giannis will stay healthy. You get 3 years from the time Giannis is 30 to the time Giannis is 33 years old, and they'll just be the best team in the NBA. They already are. If you add Giannis into this mix with SGA and the boys, you'd keep AJ Mitchell, you'd keep Nikola Topic. Those guys are really, really talented young players that we haven't even gotten a chance to see. J Dub, Chet Holmgren, they're only going to get better. SGA is getting better at his three ball. SGA probably keeps getting better as well. And you add Giannis to the mix. This would put them in a great position, an even better position to win championships for the next 3 or 4 years. By the time Giannis is 34, 35 years old, SGA will be turning about 30, 31. He'd still be playing excellent. J-Dub would be like 28 by then, so you'd still have a very high level SGA. You'd have Chet Holmgren and J-Dub just even more developed, so by the time Giannis starts slowing down in like 2030, maybe 2028, whenever it is, by the time he starts slowing down, if he even has slowed down by then, you still have a godlike SGA. You have an even further developed Chet Holmgren, AJ Mitchell, J Dub, and they still have probably 9 or 10 first round draft picks that they would have selected between now and 2030, 2031. So I think the Giannis trade would be a good move for the Thunder to make. I would definitely understand them doing that trade, but If they didn't make the trade, I'd understand that as well. It's just such a hard one. Let's say another team trades for Giannis. Hypothetically, let's say the Spurs trade for Giannis and the Spurs knock OKC out of the playoffs this year, with Giannis and Wemby and the boys. And then OKC is thinking next year, damn, we missed out on Giannis. We could have secured Giannis and been just in an incredible position to keep competing for championships. Even if they miss out on Giannis, OKC is going to be so competitive. Their championship window is open for at least the next 5 years. But we were looking at the Boston Celtics just last year. They look really similar to OKC, just amazing, amazing level of young talent. They have Jaylen Brown, they have Jason Tatum, just incredible 3-point shooting, just incredible coaching as well. And then you see Jason Tatum get his Achilles injury. He was only like 27 years old, I believe. So, not wishing injury on anybody, but things change really fast in the NBA. And when people project OKC out in the next 4 or 5 years, they act like no other teams are going to be getting better in the meantime. Because if I'm OKC and I can get Giannis and compete for these next 3 years and just really, really compete at an even higher level than we are right now, which is crazy to say because OKC is just so great right now. But 3 years from now, Victor Wembanyama is going to be 24 years old, and in 3 years, OKC might not be the best team in the NBA. Other teams are getting better as OKC is getting better. Denver is still getting better. The Rockets are getting better. So, it's not like one team improves and all the rest of the NBA just stands packed. So let me know what y'all think. This is such a hard choice for me. I personally would make the trade for Giannis if I was the Thunder. I'm a Spurs fan. I feel like we should make the trade for Giannis as well if we're in position to make that trade. But even for me as a Spurs fan, it's so tough because San Antonio and OKC, we kind of have a similar plethora of draft picks. Our futures are looking similar as far as having, a very good core and a lot of draft picks moving forward. And just the toughest job for a GM deciding if you should keep these first rounders or make a trade for a 30-year-old top 3 player in the NBA. Like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 7 million subscribers. Let me know what you think about this great problem for the Oklahoma City Thunder because it's a great problem to have. I personally would make the trade for Giannis, but I would definitely understand if you're leaning the other way towards keeping the draft picks and just keep building from the inside out. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.